I love food, and what I want to impart to you is just a modicum of the passion for cooking that I have. Okay, let's get some butter sizzling. That actually makes everybody feel better. A little bit of butter, which is something that growing up I would watch Julia Childs. You know, she would say a little bit of butter and take almost a quarter of a cup and rake it right into the thing. I do the same thing. When you're cooking at home and your guests are there and the smell of garlic and butter hits them, they will be pleased. Even if you're not cooking something, you just melt some garlic and butter in the kitchen, and when your guests come, they'll be happy. That's just a comfort thing that you can do. One of the secrets to cooking fast, like if you do a dinner party when you get home at 5:30 and have one on the plate by the table by 8 o'clock, don't feel bad about using this stuff. You use it, you add it to your dish, and then you hide the can from your friends and lie. When you do the mise en place and they walk in and they see the array of delicious foods they can anticipate, and you tell them how wonderful it's going to be, you know, they'll be open to it too. In my community, I have a lot of folks that have never had duck. And when I make it with them and I allow them to taste it, they become fans. Now, remember that this wrap is translucent. So you want to do it in stages so that you have a pretty end product. And while you're there making them, they're oohing and awing all around you. And you're feeling like a gourmet, and all you're really doing is, and to be quite honest, it doesn't have to be duck. It could be fried chicken from the local chicken place. Tear it up, place it in there, roll it in the wrap, and you've got something gourmet just because you say so. I'm going to do one more of the spring roll wraps for you to show you how easy it really is. Take the wrap, dunk it in water, and it takes just a second. While I'm doing that, I'm going to check on this. Oh, this is beautiful. Oh, the texture is wonderful. Oh, the smell is awesome. You can smell the thyme. You can smell the earthiness of the different mushrooms. You can smell the onions. We'll take the wrap out of the water once it becomes tender. You don't want to let it set in there too long because it'll start to fall apart and make it difficult for you to wrap. Basil is such a subtle, wonderful flavor. Things that you can do as alternates are, you can put cilantro in here. You can put almost any leafy herb. Now, remember that this wrap is translucent. So you want to do it in stages so that you have a pretty end product. So use your fingers, you put a little bit of duck here. Now don't put too much duck because these rolls will really start to fall apart. So we'll use a little bit of this. We'll use a mung to add the green. So you flip it up, roll it back, and you roll it. And remember now, if you make a mistake, this is the one that you serve to the kids. It's still delicious, but this is the one you serve to the kids. The basic component of plating, the plate. Try to find something that is the right scale for the material that you're doing. This looks like enough food, but if you replate it, it doesn't look like enough food, does it? So it's about proportion and juxtaposition. 5 years ago, if you had told me that at Christmas time, I would get excited about a pressure cooker and an electric pepper grinder, I would have just guffawed and beat you up. But I get excited about that stuff now. So here we go. Now, if you were making a more rustic dish, then you wouldn't have to strain this. But I want a more sophisticated dish. I want it to look and feel texture-wise more sophisticated. So we're going to strain it through a chinois. Chinois is a fancy name for a very fine screen. It's a very cool name too. I would have sleepovers for my boy. Monty is his name. He's 14 now, but even when he was younger, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, we'd have sleepovers. My friends would wonder, Juan, how can you take on 5, 6, 8-year-olds? Well, first of all, it's really easy. You make them do everything for themselves. They make their food, they make their bed, they clean the walls if they get dirty. And you know, that's how you do it. So what I did was I had them all in the kitchen. I had one young man who professed to not like vegetables. I know that if you can get kids to make their own vegetables, they will eat them just for the experience value. So I had this young man. Sometimes these lessons can backfire on you, I have to tell you. So I had him making green beans. I had him placing them green beans until in the hot water until they came out nice and green, shocked them in the cold water, placed them aside, and we warmed them with butter and garlic later to serve. Well, the very next day, he went home, and his mother was boiling green beans. He stopped her. This is 8-year-olds. Mom, stop. Please, you're making the vegetables incorrectly. Mr. Montier said to do it this way. He proceeded to make great vegetable for his mom. Has been doing it ever since. Since I'm an architect, I always like to put the points first, diametrically opposed. And what that does is allow you to make even rows. Take your little raspberry and spot the center. And then you can start building from that. You connect the dots. We've completely dressed the face of the tart. And what we're going to do is the final little poufta, the final bit of panache that really will take it over the top. There's some other cooking guy that says bam, but I won't do that. What this does is really make the raspberries glisten. And that's the drama that you want on your food. You want drama on your food. Voila. Okay, gang. What we have is your fabulous, delicious, easy, wonderful, did I say fabulous? Fabulous meal. It consists of a yucca and potato encrusted Chilean sea bass, wild mushroom raviolis, which are really fabulous. I wish you guys could smell these things. We've got seared scallop, our ever-present crawdad, poached spinach, and fingerling carrots in a miso soup broth. Bon appetit.